everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of But Did You Die? With the Jet Sisters. I'm Angie.
I know. And I'm Rachel.
And we're your favorite disaster-dodging, jet-setting sisters.
Whoa.
How about that?
I like it. That's pretty
That's the
good.
tagline.
Say it again. Disaster dodging
Favorite
jet.
disaster-dodging, jet-setting sisters. I mean, it's kind of us.
It's got a nice ring to it.
It's a mouthful, but I used to think that about my subtitle too, and now I can just rattle that off like nobody's business.
This is not about your book. Stop making everything about your book.
Did you know that my book is on sale everywhere books are sold?
I sure do, and so does everyone. Anyway.
Okay, fine, moving on. You're going to love this topic that I have chosen for this week because I know that you love nothing more than when I get super specific and detailed and hyper-focused on something like danger or paperwork or taxes. Like, you love those minuscule things, ocean versus the sea. Like, I know you love when I get really into stuff. So we talk a lot about travel insurance. And usually when I bring up travel insurance, you say, shut up, that sounds boring. I don't need that. But now,
okay, in my early 20s, when nothing could hurt me, that's what I would say. Things have changed.
And then you read my book and said, oh, wow, 99 problems, and they're all things that could be solved if you'd been a little more prepared for every eventuality that could happen during travel. And so I am bringing something exciting to the table today because we've been talking about travel insurance. Do you need it for your next trip? Do we need it for our Sweden trip? And I think, yes. I think pretty much no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, no matter where you're going, domestic or international, I think you need some coverage. But there's actually more to it than travel insurance, and that's what I want to talk about. I think if I had not been around the world by myself and seen disasters unfolding in front of my face in real time, I probably wouldn't be such a huge proponent of this.
Yeah, you are specific and annoying, so proceed.
But I think that you can admit to everyone here that I do keep you safe and things do go smoothly when I'm in charge of things. So I think a lot of travelers, even seasoned ones, don't realize that travel insurance, while necessary, also has limits. And
yeah, I literally knew nothing about this until recently. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat. And again, I will thank you for that because you are the one who has brought this to my attention on past trips.
I feel like I've been saying it a lot lately too, because folks act so surprised when I say that you need this special coverage, and people just don't realize it. And honestly, I didn't know that I needed it until recently either. So you need your travel insurance, and that's a must, no matter where you're going. So the other thing you need on top of travel insurance is Medjet, and that is a global air medical transport and travel security membership program. So it's a huge mouthful, but here's what it basically means. There's two membership options that you can get with this program. There's Medjet Assist, which is the less expensive one. It pays for hospital to hospital medical transfer if you're hospitalized while you're traveling. So here's how this is different than than travel insurance. Travel insurance, sure, will get you to a hospital in Burma. You're chilling in your hospital in Burma, and your leg
Where's
is
Burma?
Don't worry, just look at a map. It's a
where
place,
is Burma?
man. It's Myanmar.
Sounds scary.
It's Myanmar. Countries Ray has never heard of. Okay, you're in France. You're riding a bicycle under the Eiffel Tower. You run into a mime, and your leg gets very injured. So you have to be hospitalized because you hit the mime. He had a fungus. You caught the fungus. Now it's a whole thing. You're hospitalized. And the doctor tells you, possibly in a language you don't speak, who knows?
I don't speak French.
That
You're
you
correct.
need to have a pretty serious surgery on your gangrenified leg or whatever. If you just have travel insurance, you're pretty much stuck there to get your emergency medical situation sorted out unless there's a medically necessary reason to send you somewhere else. And it's unlikely they're going to send you home. They're just going to send you somewhere else in France or whatever is close. So you're laying there, your leg is festering, you're awaiting surgery, you're not really sure what's going on. If you've ever been hospitalized, you're not in a good mood, you don't feel right. If you're even conscious, you're possibly on pain medication. And if you're by yourself, that's even more terrible. Like, how awful does that sound? And you have no real choice as to where you go, and you can't advocate for yourself necessarily, depending on what condition you're in.
No, I,
Am I
I
scaring you
literally,
enough yet?
yeah, no, I literally can't believe that. You don't really think about how much of a big deal that is until you're in that situation. So now I'm scared to go to France.
This is not a France problem. This is something could happen to you anywhere you go, and it can also happen domestically. We'll have to talk about this for your Ragbri trip. So here's another example. If your plane, an example from my real life, if your plane goes haywire in Kenya and you don't take off, and your bush plane spins out into the savannah, and you fly out of the plane and a hyena bites you, that didn't happen, but instead of having surgery on your leg in Kenya, if you have the Medjet membership, you call them up and tell them where you want to go, and they get you and take you to that hospital.
Listen, I know you said like we're spitballing, but that basically almost happened to you. And you say this in your book is you were in Kenya and there was you were in a plane crash. So this is not far-fetched. Like, thankfully it got under control, but that could have very easily been a disaster for you. It's amazing you've survived.
Even when I reread my book, I'm like, how did I do it? Because I had travel insurance and it covered a few things. Fortunately, I was never hospitalized, not because I didn't need to be, but because I was like, I don't know where the hospital is. This is hard.
You should have been hospitalized in Thailand. Did you go?
No, there was no hospital. So where I was, they were like, you'll probably be okay. And I was like, I guess I'll let it run its course. So I didn't die there, but, I was just reading an example. So there was this lady who like fell off one of the pyramids. Not like you imagine her standing on top of the pyramids, but she was goofing around and fell off and injured several things and had to have surgery, was hospitalized in Egypt. And so she's in the hospital there, and come to find out, they use cats inside the hospital for rodent control. So, yes, cats are an effective method of rodent control, but is that where you want to have like your fibia or whatever, like plates put in your leg? You know what I mean? So because she had what?
I was going to say, what if you're allergic to cats? You've got two problems.
Yeah, then they're just pumping you full of Benadryl and hoping for the best. Right. It's not an ideal situation. So, she wasn't comfortable having surgery there. She called up Medjet because she had a membership, and they're like, okay, what hospital do you want to go to? Boom, 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 sorted them out, took them to the hospital that she wanted to go to at home. So in so many situations, this is, you could see how this could come in handy.
Yes. Is there a deductible to meet? How do you get that covered?
This is my favorite part, that when I was first learning about Medjet, I couldn't even believe it. So you pay your fee, whether you're doing it by the trip or on an annual basis, and you don't pay anything else. That's all you pay. So you've got something bad happening to you and you're in the hospital, you pay nothing else. They figure it all out and get you to your home hospital. What? And it's your choice. It's not, all the insurance companies don't have to decide. Nobody's making choices for you. You're like, I want to go to the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. That's the one. And they get you there. And you don't pay anything else. And there's not a bunch of like paperwork, and it's actually really easy. So this is why I'm bringing this one up. The other thing that's really interesting, that since you've never gotten travel insurance really, when I did my round the world trip, there were all these specifications that you had to click off, like where you were going, and what you were going to be doing while you were there, as if I knew what I was going to do the entire year. But Are you skydiving? That's a special thing. Are you scuba diving? That's a special thing. Are you going to be riding a motorbike? Are you going to be renting a scooter? There's a lot of things to think of, and different travel insurances have different caveats for that. So Medjet doesn't care about that. There's no exclusions. It's like, whatever you're doing, we got you. We will, if you're hospitalized for something you did, even if it was stupid, even if, you shouldn't have been skydiving, like whatever it is.
Or in your case, you rode a bike and you fell over. Like, you wouldn't even need to do something extreme to get seriously injured because it's you.
Right. Yeah. I'm calling them. I'm like, I've been hospitalized. I tripped over my own feet in the dark and busted my face open. And now I have to have my jaw replaced. Like, yes. And these are oh my gosh, I'm having such a flashback of that time I broke my foot jumping into bed and I didn't have my glasses on when I was in the Bahamas and I had to hobble around. Yeah. So travel insurance, Medjet, very important. So it gets even better. You're not going to believe this. So that's like the basic membership that everybody should get, right? They also have Medjet Horizon. And this is, I can't believe that I traveled the world in the places that I did, in the year that I did, without this. Because, okay, so this Medjet Horizon includes everything the Medjet Assist has, right? It also has worldwide travel security and crisis response services. Who needed that? Me. Like, in a lot of situations. So they have a team. They know people. They have connections on the ground, wherever you may be. And so 24/7, 365, they've got this network of experts, the kind of, I hesitate to say Liam Neeson's, but it's kind of that vibe, it's who you'd want to call. So for a wide range of safety threats, including, but not limited to, natural disasters, violent crime, disappearance, kidnapping for ransom, which, like, forgot about that, political threat, terrorism, wrongful detention, blackmail and extortion, hijacking, and pandemic. So you don't want to think that those things could happen, but those things can happen. I feel like the only thing on that list I didn't deal with was disappearance, because I didn't disappear. I mean, I could have, probably at any moment.
And again, you think those things don't happen to you? What happened a couple days ago in Taiwan? The earthquake, that was like the biggest earthquake in the last, 50 years? Ben has a friend over there right now.
Oh, no.
Who was at the place. They found, like, hours later, we've heard from him. He's fine, but he was visiting his girlfriend's family. But, like, in this instance, is that a Medjet Horizon thing?
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's who you call and say, hey, we're stuck. We escaped from this building. What do we do? How to help us? And they're like, we got people. Like, we got people, we're sending people, whatever the case may be. Obviously, for each thing, it's going to be a different response because every country is different. Every situation is different. I mean, with natural disasters on an island, that's got to be a whole special kind of response. But the point is, they've got people everywhere that can help you out with these things. I wouldn't call it violent crime, but I would call it, proximity to violent crime. I was proximity to natural disasters, terrorism right there, political threats right there, protests, the Arab Spring, like all these things were happening. And at any moment I could have been stuck in, like, I thought, I thought I was in the Egyptian Museum. Now people are shooting and lighting things on fire. That's when I would call Medjet. Like, I mean, who else would you call? What are you going to do? Run? No, you call your Medjet and you figure it out. So
I'm not running anywhere. That's it for me.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. I'm like hiding in a sarcophagus in the Egyptian Museum, waiting for my Medjet Liam Neeson to come get me. You put them on speed dial before you leave, so and then you write the phone number down in a variety of other places. Yeah, you might even consider getting it tattooed on your finger because, listen, it's that important, right? It's really important. Depending on where you're going, like, there's some countries I wouldn't dare go to without having this. So Something else that I think is interesting about this in particular, you don't have to wait for the government to issue some kind of there's a political thing going on, don't go there. You don't have to wait for that. If you feel unsafe, you can call them and they will sort you out. Like what? Isn't that amazing? Doesn't that blow your mind?
Yeah.
The distinction between travel insurance and Medjet is travel insurance can get you to a nearby hospital to stabilize you. But if you don't want to be stuck there with whatever medical care is available, then Medjet is what is going to get you to the home hospital you choose versus whatever travel insurance decides you get to do.
The cats.
Yeah. I mean, you might not want to get pins in your leg in Thailand or a hip replacement in Malawi. I don't want to do any of that anywhere, but I sure would rather be close to home. Because what if you're by yourself? You know, like, you just want to go home and be close to somebody. You're automatically going to feel better no matter how much bad shape you're in.
In your book, there was so much going on. I feel like you encountered a lot of violence. So how would a Medjet membership be helpful in a situation like that?
So if you have Medjet Horizon, which is the one I think everybody should get, the political threat response benefit, so that's riots, strikes, and civil commotions, which I'm like, I saw all of those things. And it's Medjet says it's one of the most frequent types of calls they get. So if a member is feeling threatened, they get real-time advice and assistance. So there's an extensive network of security experts, as mentioned, and boots on the ground around the world. And so they make sure that the person is safe, like in a temporary safe place, that they could get back to their hotel safely. So say they find themselves in the middle of a riot and they're like, I don't know how to get out of here. They can like help them get back to where they need to go. Maybe they don't need to go all the way home. They just need help getting to a safer spot in the country or whatever to move to their next destination. And if they needed to get home, depending on the situation, they could help them get to the airport to get home. I can't believe I didn't have that. Again, like, how did I not have that? And so this is the thing that sold me. It's this security response benefit, and this is the thing. Because travel insurance you can get anywhere, and it's pretty similar, but this is pretty unique.
That's nice. It's kind of like having your own SWAT team on speed dial.
Kind of, in a way. Something else that I think is important about the Medjet Horizon benefit and the security response team is that there's no hard triggers. Like I said, the government doesn't have to issue an evacuation order. You can call anytime you don't feel safe. So like something's going, you're not always going to know. You can't wait 2 days for the government to decide that something bad is happening. Literally, if you're in the middle of something, and we have been in the middle of some things. So, you know, you could make that call and say, hey, something's going on. And they'll be like, yes, we have intelligence on that. And we need to get you to the next location. Here's another option that I do quickly want to talk about because we're running out of time. But if you're hospitalized, say you're in an ER in, let me pick a country, Zimbabwe. You're in an ER in Zimbabwe, and they will not treat you until you pony up the cash, right? What if the cash that they want is $60,000 US, and they're not going to give you pain medication for your busted hip until you pony up $60,000 cash to cover any kind of medical care that you might need, right? Yikes. So even with travel insurance, you might have to pay the bill first. I've done that before, where I've paid an emergency room bill on site and then travel insurance reimbursed me. But if you're looking at a huge amount, $60,000, Medjet will cash advance you that. So you can pay and get care right then. And if I had to call home and say, okay, I broke my hip and my arm and I have gangrene, and can you guys possibly get me 60 grand, wire it to me now? I would just die in the hospital. Let's be honest. Like that would not happen. So it's just better, I think, to have it. So that's pretty much how that goes.
Yeah, that's great. That is a lot of good information. I'm gonna get it before Spain, And definitely before Ragbri, because that, 500-mile bike ride across Iowa for 7 days, I know I'm going to need some assistance if I don't practice. So,
You you might. And truly, if you're at the hospital in Iowa, you just don't have to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you don't have to stay there just because that's where you are. You can just bop on over.
that's awesome.
And that's the other thing. I think people forget that travel insurance, Medjet, those kick in when you're 150 miles from home. You don't have to go far, far away.
People don't forget. People don't know that.
Yeah. Well, like, I think you live about 150 miles from me. So if I got hurt in Orlando, theoretically, travel insurance could kick in there.
Yeah, I'm not driving you back to Jacksonville because you fell off the house.
Literally, you're like, you broke your leg? Call Medjet. This is not my problem.
Amazing. All right. That was a lot of good information. It was basically a travel tip. Do you have any more travel tips?
I do have a travel tip, and shockingly, it's Medjet and travel insurance related. So with both of these programs, you can get an annual membership. So you don't have to worry about getting, oh, I'm going to Costa Rica this week, buy an insurance policy. Oh, I'm going here, buy an insurance policy. You can get it for the year. And I think most travel insurances have that, but Medjet definitely has that as the membership. So you don't have to worry about it all the time. And this covers you as long as you're 150 miles or more from home. And it's really not that expensive. Medjet is so affordable that after I found out all the stuff that it covers and then found out how really not expensive it is, I was mad at myself for not having it.
That's good to know, because I was thinking I would need it for Spain and then for Ragbri, but if it's yearly, how much are we talking?
I would recommend that pretty much anybody get the Medjet Horizon. That's like the big one that's got the travel, the crisis response, and the get you back to your home, hospital, all those kind of benefits for an individual for a year.
I kind of want to guess. Should I write down a number?
Okay, write down a number. And this is for the cream of, the top that you can get with all the bells and whistles. This
the
is for
Liam
one person.
Neeson. This is
Yeah,
the
Liam Neeson on speed dial, your own SWAT team, like scoop
This
you
is
out
for
of
a
crisis.
year?
For a year, for one person. I feel like it's the Price is Right. You got to put Price is Right sound effects in here.
Okay, I have a number. This number makes sense to me, and I travel a lot, so this is nice. This would be nice. Okay, you tell me.
No,
or do I show it first?
I don't know. I'm not good at game shows. All right, how much do you think? Well, I can't even see that. What does that say?
It says $1,000.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good price to pay for that. Like, very reasonable. Dude, it's $474 for an annual. There's no reason anybody should be walking around anywhere on this ridiculous planet full of disasters and crazy people without that for less than $500 for the year for one person.
I spent $500 yesterday, and I don't even know on what.
It's so reasonable. Guess how much it is for a family membership annual? $614. So you're not even talking about like you and Ben, and so it's $1,000. No, it's still only $600. Like, yes.
That's pretty nice.
Everybody needs that. I remember when I first found out about this, the first thing I did was call our grandma and say, you need this, because she's going on a cruise like every 3 weeks. She just loves cruising, constantly going on a cruise. You got to have it. You get hurt on a cruise ship, you do not want to be in the Cancun clinic getting your stuff sorted out. You want to go home to Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just that easy. How many hands of blackjack is that, Grandma? Come on. Get it.
Well, it depends. How bad is she? Sorry, Grandma.
She must be good. She must be
She's
good.
gotta be
She's
good.
better than us. She's better than us. She's a pro.
Really?
So, and then if you wanted just the Medjet Assist without the crisis response, which, like, why? But, Nobody wants that. But if you
No,
did,
I want the
300
speed dial. I want the
it's
speed dial.
300 It's just like 300-ish bucks. 315. That's
Yeah,
so
no, I want
reasonable.
crisis.
I want everything. Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty great.
I want it all. So,
Don't mind me. I'll just be over here getting Medjet.
yeah, I am fully going to insist on it. And when we start doing group trips again, I am going to suggest that everybody get it because I mean, there are protests in every big city in America and riots. And what if you need help getting out of a situation? Call up your buddies at the Medjet Security Response Situation and
It's me again.
they're like, ma'am, you need to stay home.
Did you fall down a hole? Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's pretty great. All right, sis. What are we doing this week?
We are finally going somewhere together, which I don't feel like we do very much. Like we might go to each other's homes, but we haven't been traveling together in a while. So we're going to Dallas for the eclipse. So exciting. We're going to hang out with your bestie and my bestie, and Rick's coming. I don't know.
And we're going to see Nick. We're going to see Pilot Nick.
Pilot Nick is going to be there.
So listen, if y'all have questions for a pilot, let me know. I'll ask them. My main question is, how do planes fly? So I'm already going to ask him that.
What do you think he's going to be like? Google it, dummy. I'm sure it
No.
says it on the internet.
No, I ask him at least twice a year, and he always tells me it's like this. Well, that didn't work, but he does. He's really good at explaining it. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna go see the eclipse. We already talked about that. And then I'm going to Spain. Surprise, everyone! I'm going to Spain.
Hold on. Can we go back? Speaking of crises and disasters, did you buy eclipse glasses for us?
Jessie did
She did?
months ago.
Ha! Okay, good. Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I hope that we actually need them. Fingers crossed. And then I'm going to Utah, which you were supposed to come with me because I'm speaking at the Women in Travel Summit about my book and doing a book signing. But instead, you're going to Spain.
It was cheaper than going to Utah. How about
It was
that?
literally cheaper than Utah, so I can't blame you. I kind of want to go to Spain too, but I'm going to Utah and we have a big Europe trip coming up. Yeah, you're literally going to come back from Spain and then we're going to go right back and lay over in Spain. And
Do you want to hear what my month is?
yes.
A week in Dallas, a week in Spain, home, a week directing in Boston, Peter's graduation in Auburn, a week home, Sweden.
That's pretty much what mine looks like, except it's like bookstore, 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 because I'm doing book tour stops, which if anybody's listening and anybody wants to meet me out on the road, I keep popping up book tour dates on my Instagram and Facebook as they get added to the schedule. So come see us. I just want to say a huge, ginormous thank you to Medjet for sponsoring this episode of But Did You Die? And a big thanks in advance for any future rescuing they may do of us on our travels. You hope you don't need to use it, but it's one of those things you just have to have and you didn't know you needed.
Yeah, this podcast isn't called But Did You Die for nothing.
That is so true. That is so true. We have many, many stories, and we're, I would say, very blessed and very lucky that we haven't had to use Medjet yet.
So hey, if you listened last week, we decided to do an Unhinged sign-off contest because we couldn't figure out how to end it. Last week, Ange said, "Bye, I love you." But we both brought our candidates. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
May the events of this week eclipse all your expectations.
Okay, that was cute and good, and I didn't think we were going for cute and good.
Oh gosh, I can't wait to hear yours.
Don't wander too far off. We'll be back next week. Ciao.
That's so cute too. That's so cute too. We both.
And
we
then
both look
and then
cute.
our buys can be a different language every week.
Ooh, that's fun. I love it. I love that we're workshopping this in real time. Okay, so
These weren't as unhinged as I thought they would be. These were actually pretty good.
no, we did all right. Next week, let's be more unhinged.
We love you.